let's get the meeting going.
Okay, good evening and welcome to a special meeting of the Council of the City of Long Beach held Monday, December 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Delury.
Present.
Councilmember Mandel.
Present.
Councilmember Treston.
Present.
Vice President McGinnis.
Present.
President Bendo.
Present.
Let the record indicate the presence of City Manager Donna Gaden and Deputy Corporation Counsel Richard Berrios. We'll now salute to the flag.
Councilman Delury, would you please lead us?
Be honored, President Bendo. Hands over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Just to remind some of you out there that may keep track of history, today is Pearl Harbor, the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, where the Japanese attacked the United States and brought us into World War II. So if you can, you might want to just give a little remembrance to the 2,403 Americans who lost their lives that day, as well as there were another 1,178 that were wounded. And just to give you a further indication of the tragedy, the USS Arizona, which was one of the ships that was sunk, 23 sets of brothers were killed that morning on that one ship during the attack. 23 sets of brothers. So just something to keep in mind today. So, but with that, since it's a special meeting, we're not going to have a city manager's report, and we will just get to the agenda. And by the way, also because it's a special meeting, there'll be no good and welfare as well. So, Dave, let's get to the agenda.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution authorizing settlement of an action brought by Wenger Construction Company against the City of Long Beach.
All right, and I'm going to assume this is Mr. Berrios that will.
Sure, yes. Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I know my other video camera had issues with audio, so I just want to make sure. Not to belabor or regurgitate too much of what's already in the written resolution, this matter is nearly 10 years old, stems from a construction contract for the rehabilitation of the West End Firehouse over on Park in Indiana. This is pre-Sandy. We've had a number of discussions with council on this one. I myself have spent an entire day in mediation on this one, and the settlement terms for this are substantial but fairly straightforward and simple. Though substantial. $750,000 be paid to the plaintiff on or before March 1st, 2020. The council today will be voting on the execution or the approval of execution of the settlement agreement and mutual releases, and legal will coordinate with the comptroller's office on payment and closing out the matter. With that, if you have any questions, I'm here for you.
All right, there any questions from any of the council members? All right, hearing none. Dave, do we have any questions from the public?
Yes, we do. Roy Lester.
Okay, come on, Roy.
Go ahead, Roy.
I have to unmute. Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Yes, you are.
Okay. I guess I'm not clear about the history of this. We sued the construction company for over $1 million, didn't we?
No, they filed suit against us and we filed counterclaims, Mr. Lester.
That's what's called suing them. We counterclaimed. So
That's
we
fine.
sued them for over $1 million, didn't we?
If you're asking me for the counterclaims, we have alleged counterclaims in the matter, yes.
Over $1 million, correct?
If you have something in front of you, Mr. Lester, I'm sure you can read it off to me. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Well, that's what it said in the judgment. So basically,
what judgment are you referring to, Mr. Lester?
There were a couple of decisions, and then it went up to, I think it went up to the appellate division. I think we both moved for summary judgment, both the city and Wenger. And both of us were denied. And then the city went up to the appellate division. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm
Right
going
now,
off
Mr.
of memory.
Lester, we're scheduled for trial after a
Right.
number of settlement conferences. As to pre-litigation, I'm sure there were a bunch of motions back and forth, yes.
Okay. And we had outside counsel handling this?
We did, correct.
And what did that cost us?
I don't have the number in front of me, but I'm sure if Ms. Gaden and the comptroller can get into it, we can definitely get that number for you.
Okay. All right. And then once neither one of us got summary judgment, we just settled for $750 and forgave our $1 million claim. Is that correct?
Basically, Mr. Lester, after mediation and numerous settlement conferences with the judge and both parties, we determined 750 was the number. And it was in the best interest of all the parties.
When you say the best interest of all the parties, yes, it's in their best interest to get $750,000. How is it in the best interest of the city to give away $750,000?
Roy, I'm going to step in here for a second.
Okay.
I understand your line of questioning because it is a lot of money. That's fine. But you were not part of this case or the mediation sessions or any of the conference sessions. So, well, I
That's
understand.
why I have to ask the questions
No,
now, John.
No, I understand that, but challenging the results when you don't have the firsthand knowledge that our attorney does, because we had outside counsel, that there was a lot of work that went into this. So I do understand your curiosity and wanting to know why, but there may be things Rich can't tell you, but our lawyer did assure us that this was to the city's advantage.
John, why would there be something, it's a settled case. Why would there be something that would be hidden that he couldn't tell me at this point? It's a settled case.
It's a proposal for a settlement, Mr. Lester. It's not settled yet.
So you're saying that you can't disclose to the public why we settled this until you vote to settle it?
I'm
So
saying
the
I can't
public
discuss the
doesn't
merits
know
of the
the
case. I
reason.
mean, you're asking me to basically give the legal advice that was conveyed to the council on this. I can't really do that.
Well, sure you can. I mean,
You
it's $750,000, Rich.
So in the interest of transparency, you're
$750,000.
suggesting I breach the attorney-client privilege and just tell you the whole case from soup to nuts.
We are your client. The city of Long Beach is your client. Okay? And yes, we should know why when we were asking for $1 million, now we're giving them $750,000. There should be some explanation. If you're not going to give it, I understand you're not going to give it. But I think there should be some explanation to the city. Why, after asking for $1 million, I think it was 1.2, I'm not sure the exact amount, we are now giving them $750,000, and it's in our best interest.
I do understand your concern, Mr. Lester. The city is the client, but the city council members are the elected representatives of the city. So they're the city in this regard. And they've had several meetings with council and myself on this matter, and been given as much information as possible on this. At this point, that's why we're presenting it for settlement.
And I'm asking why. If I'm not going to get an answer, I'm not going to get an answer. I understand. There's nothing I can do about it.
Right. No, there's not much more I can say about that, Mr. Lester. But
Okay.
I understand your concerns.
Okay.
Okay, you done, Roy?
Well, I'm not getting any answers, so I have to be done, John.
Well, you're getting the answers that you are able to be given at this time.
Well, I disagree. I think I'm able to be given a lot of answers, but I'm not getting any. So I'm not going to argue.
Well,
That's how you're running it. Okay.
well, You
Thanks.
are, but I'm sorry you're not satisfied with the answers you did get.
I don't think anybody would be satisfied with those answers, but whatever.
Okay, have a good night.
I'll be back.
I'm sure you will. All right. Anyone else, Dave?
Yes, Eileen Hessian.
Okay. Got to unmute, Eileen.
Okay. Is this about the West End Firehouse?
Yes, Ms. Hessian.
It's a while ago, but I do remember at the time that we had a lot of complaints about the work that was done there. So I am curious as to why we're being held liable when they did the bad work. Maybe my memory is faulty and that's not the correct thing, but that's what I remember.
Right, Ms. Hessian, at this point, we're not liable. We're actually settling the matter before it goes to full term at trial. So it's not that we're liable, we're paying a sizable sum of money.
But why, you're not going to answer me just like you didn't answer Roy, but I'm wondering why we're paying when they did faulty work.
Well, I can't really comment much more than that on the merits, I'm sorry.
All right, and when you say that it's going to trial, does that mean maybe we won't pay the $750,000?
What I think what you're asking is what any client would ask an attorney before trial, right? What are my chances of success? And the attorney that says it's a slam dunk is probably lying to you, right? So.
But there is a possibility that we will win.
There's always a possibility for anything, but probability is a different story.
And who was our lawyer for this? The outside counsel?
Outside counsel for this case?
Mm-hmm.
Ed McCabe.
I'm sorry, who?
Ed McCabe.
It seems like we pay an awful lot of. Okay, thank you.
No problem, Ms. Hessian.
Okay, Dave, anyone else?
Nope, that's all we have.
Okay. On to the next item.
Item 2 is a resolution authorizing settlement of an action brought by Herzel Alon against the city of Long Beach.
Rich, I'm assuming that's you again?
That'd be me. So similar resolution for a smaller, though still not insubstantial amount. This is an action, it's a personal injury action, basically 2 years old. Initial demand for settlement from plaintiff was $500,000. This accident stems from the lifeguard headquarter bathrooms over on National Boulevard at the beach. Just if you need a point of reference. Several settlement conferences were had. Multiple meetings with council members have been had. I believe Chuck wrote you guys a report as well, or at least briefed you on the matter. And at this point, this matter is settling for an amount of $200,000 from the initial $500,000 demand. Procedurally, by the way, motions for summary judgment were filed, and now we're at the point where we're going to trial.
Okay. Any questions from the council members? Okay, seeing none. Dave, who's first?
Roy Lester.
Okay, welcome back.
Go ahead, Roy.
I'm unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. Again, we had outside counsel on this?
No, this was in-house, Mr. Lester.
In-house. Okay. But at this point, it was a regular slip and fall. I understand that there were injuries. Now, if I'm correct, so you handled it, Rich?
No. Charles Geiger handled this case.
Okay. Now, they had, according to the judge, they had an expert witness. And we didn't?
What are you asking specifically? If we had an expert witness ready for trial?
If we had an expert witness that rebutted their expert witness.
If we had an expert witness that rebutted their expert witness.
Did we even have an expert witness?
I'm not sure, actually. I could double check with Mr. Geiger, but I believe we had a pretty substantial cross-examination of the expert witness.
But we didn't come out with an expert witness saying that he was wrong.
Not that I'm aware of at this point. I can always find out that we may have. But again, like I said, we filed summary judgment motions and.
Well, I don't believe anybody can rightfully win a summary judgment motion. Summary judgments are, even though they're granted all the time, if you look at the law, they're very, very difficult to win. So I don't know why we expected to win a summary judgment motion and stop it at that. And this is $200,000, and it's basically, as I understand, it wasn't witnessed. It's just somebody saying he fell down the steps, and so we give him $200,000. We didn't, no jury was picked or anything like that. As soon as we lost summary judgment, we settled.
All these discussions, Mr. Lester, were had prior to summary judgment even being determined or decided. This was just something we had discussed with the council numerous times before, based on the facts of the case and the severity of the injury.
Okay, but the council never discussed any of this with any of the public. So that's why this is the only chance that we have to ask questions about our money. Now, we're talking between these two cases almost $1 million for a city that is broke, completely broke. And the only chance that the public has to ask any questions is right now, since this was never brought up before. So that's why I'm asking the questions. According to this, I don't see that the city ever put in an expert. And their expert basically said, hey, the city was at fault.
Mr. Lester, I understand your concerns. I can't comment on the actual particulars of litigation. I can always double check with Chuck on other things, but at this point, this is why it's before the council.
Well, it's a published decision. Why can't you comment on a published decision?
You're asking me to comment on a document I don't have in front of me at the moment.
Well, I mean, but if you're asking people.
Mr. Lester, this was going on the agenda regardless of the summary judgment motion.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Okay, so even if we had won summary judgment, it would have been on the agenda?
Yes.
It was settled before summary judgment?
This was presented before the motion was decided.
Why? Why wouldn't you wait? If you have a motion for summary judgment, why wouldn't you wait for that before you offer our city's money? All right, whatever.
That's 3 minutes.
That's my 3 minutes. I gather. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Dave, anyone else? You muted, Dave.
Yeah, sorry, my mouse got stuck there. No, that's all for that one.
Okay, let's move on to item 3.
Okay. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for the cost of payment of settled claims against the City of Long Beach in the matter of Wenger Construction Company, Inc. versus City of Long Beach, stating the estimated total cost thereof is $750,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $750,000 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation. This item is for publication only. Hearing will be held December 15th at 7 p.m. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for the phases 1 and 2 of the flood protection for major critical infrastructure projects, stating the estimated total cost therefore of $33,500,395, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $33,500,395 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation, and further authorizing any amounts received from the United States of America, excuse me, and or the state of New York to be expended towards the cost of such project, or redemption of any notes and bonds issued therefore, or to be budgeted as an offset to the taxes for payment of the principal and of the interest on said bonds and any notes issued in anticipation thereof. This item is for publication only. A hearing will be held December 15th at 7 p.m. Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for various capital projects in and for the city, stating the estimated total cost thereof is $6,330,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and including the expenditure of $1,450,000 expected to be received in the state and federal aid, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $4,880,000 bonds of said city to finance the balance of said appropriation, and further authorizing any amounts received from the United States of America and or the state of New York to be expended towards the cost of certain of such capital projects as indicated herein, or redemption of any notes and bonds therefore, or to be budgeted as an offset to the taxes for payment of the principal of and interest on said notes and bonds. This item is for publication only. Hearing will be held December 15th at 7 p.m. And finally, item 6 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for the cost of payments of settled claims against the city in the matter of Herzel, Alon versus City of Long Beach, stating the estimated total cost thereof is $200,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $200,000 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation. This item is for publication only. Hearing will be held December 15th at 7 p.m. On to the voting. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing settlement of an action brought by Wenger Construction, Inc. against the City of Long Beach. Will you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Thank you. Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Councilmember McGinnis,
Based upon my responsibilities as an elected city council member and advice of council, I vote yes.
and President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 2 is a resolution authorizing settlement of an action brought by Herzel, Alon against the City of Long Beach. Will you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Based upon my responsibilities as an elected city council official, a member, and advice of council, I vote yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for the cost of payment of settled claims against the City of Long Beach in the matter of Wenger Construction Company, Inc. versus City of Long Beach, stating the estimated total cost thereof, $750,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $750,000 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation. Would you just move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Item 4 is resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for phases 1 and 2 of the flood protection for major critical infrastructure projects, stating the estimated total cost thereof is $33,500,395, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $33,500,395 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation, and further authorizing any amounts received from the United States of America and or State of New York to be expended towards the cost of such project or redemption of any notes or bonds issued therefore, or to be budgeted as an offset to the taxes for the repayment of the principal of and interest on said bonds and any notes issued in anticipation thereof. Who will introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will. Dave, can you read it again? I missed part of it.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Second,
I
will.
will.
Okay,
Okay.
Mike.
Okay.
okay, voting, Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Trustin,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
And let's see, item 5 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for various capital projects in and for the city, stating the estimated total cost thereof of $6,330,000, appropriating said amount therefore, including the expenditure of $1,450,000 expected to be received in state or federal aid, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $4,880,000 bonds of said city to finance the balance of said appropriation, and further authorizing any amounts received from the United States of America and or the state of New York to be expended towards the cost of certain of such capital projects as indicated herein, or redemption of any notes and bonds issued therefore, or to be budgeted as an offset to the taxes for payment of the principal of and interest on said notes and bonds. Who will introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Council
Who
President
got-
McGinnis.
Okay.
McGinnis.
Voting, Councilmember Delury,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
And finally, item 6 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance authorizing financing for the cost of payment of settled claims against the city in the matter of Herzel, Alon versus City of Long Beach, stating the estimated total cost thereof is $200,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $200,000 bonds of said city to finance said appropriation. Who will introduce and move the adoption of this item?
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delury,
Yes.
Councilmember Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
We'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I will.
Second?
I will.
Voting, Councilmember Delury.
Yes.
Thank you.
He had to think
Councilmember
about it.
Mandel,
Yes.
Councilmember Treston,
Yes.
Vice President McGinnis,
Yes.
President Bendo.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for joining us, folks. And we'll see you a week from Tuesday at the next meeting. And happy Hanukkah, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.